Alright, we got a product review here for a Martin Ranger. It's a wireless microphone system, the UHF-700. A lot of people do product reviews, and they're usually on the big brand names, the good quality stuff. But a lot of people always wonder and are curious about these little cheaper line stuff. Now, as a karaoke company, we do karaoke, we do DJing, we do a lot of weddings. Weddings is about 50% of our business. A majority of it is karaoke, and then we also do corporates and schools. But for karaoke, there's not a lot of reviews on that kind of stuff, and so therefore I want to just kind of give you a little heads up on this microphone system we got here. This is a system we use for our karaoke shows. Once again, like I said, it's the Martin Ranger. It's the UHF 700, which of course means that it's a UHF system. The cool thing about it is there's not many UHF microphone systems that offer the rechargeable built-in stand or comes with any kind of rechargeable system at all. So you've either got to go out and buy rechargeable batteries and then a charging base, or go with a VHF system. Now, VHF's okay for certain applications, but a lot of people like to go with the UHF frequencies. So it's got the built-in bass, and it does come with the microphone socks, the wind socks, and they are color-coded, yellow and blue. And I'm going to take them off just so you can kind of see the microphones. It's a good, nice, heavy microphone. It's not a really cheap, not a really light microphone. It does come with the rechargeable batteries, as you can see, just basic rechargeable batteries. Now I've had this system for a little more than 6 months, somewhere probably between 6 and 8 months, and it's not doing bad. There is a couple of few issues with the system, and one is, of course, the little wind socks. They don't last very long. They're not too terribly form-fitting. They are kind of tight on there, so they stay. But when you get up close, you can kind of see they're kind of loose. So they don't exactly snug the mic, except just right where the mic ball is. The other thing is it is a fixed frequency, so there's you can't change the frequency. So if something's in the area that interferes with that frequency, there's no way of changing it. So it is a fixed frequency. The back of it, basically, it just has some antennas that are built into the system. You can't really remove them. They're built onto it. It would be nice to have unscrewable antennas, just to help for protection of the system. But it is a cheap system. Don't get me wrong. This system, I think, now is going for about $115. So for the price point, it's actually a really great mic. It is kind of limited on connections. It's only got it's called they have it here as an auxiliary out, but it's just basically the 1/4 inch out, and then it also has the balanced output as well. And I'm going to imagine that the auxiliary output is an unbalanced. So you have the unbalanced 1/4 inch out, you have a microphone out, and then it does have the cord also, which is built in, and there's really no strain release or relief on it. So as you can kind of see, with only 6 to 7 months, it's kind of worn out a little bit. So you got to be careful with that. Once again, it's a cheaper model, so you usually can tell that in the build of the unit. Front of it's kind of nice. It does have where you can mix the different microphones, and it is kind of color coordinated around the dials. So you have the yellow and the blue. Now, on the microphones, when bought, right around this little ring here, there was these colored little rubber band markers in them. They're really small. One was yellow, one was blue. And that was the only thing that marked your microphone if it didn't have the windsock on it. Now with the windsock, that's why one's yellow and one's blue. It kind of helps, make the color stick out so you know which microphone you're mixing, whether it's the yellow or the blue one. So this one doesn't have a dual output. The only way you can adjust the microphone uh, from one from the other, if you have a little bit louder of a singer than on the other side, sometimes one singer will be a little quieter and one's a little louder, so you need to be able to adjust that in your microphones. Well, the only way you can do this is on the unit itself, which is fine. But once that rubber band breaks, which it did on both of them within just probably about 5 or 6 months. And we usually keep a good eye on our microphones during a show. They're not dropped as often as one would think. We don't have any issues with people abusing our mics, but we watch them and we teach our singers how to properly take care of the microphone while they have it. But basically, those have gotten broken off, so sometimes it is a little bit of a challenge to tell one microphone from the other. But if we turn our microphone on, and it does have a little bit of a mute there if you go right in between, but if we turn it on, the microphone itself, all it has is the on and off switch, and then it has a little low battery light. Once that light comes on, that means your battery's low. But you will tell it in the voice or in the use of the microphone before that light actually comes on, but it'll be shortly after. If we look down on the unit, we'll just kind of zoom in here a little bit. If we zoom into it, we can kind of see a couple of things going on here. When we turn our microphone on, as you see right here, it has an off and an on light. So that tells us that the microphone's on. And then it also tells us the volume level of which that microphone is set at. So as you turn your volume up, you're going to see this top LED just kind of light up. When we look down below it, it has the AF frequency signal, which basically is telling us how much of a signal input that it's getting by the way I talk. Now when we have karaoke singers, right now it's not bad at all. And so it's going to be a lot easier to adjust the volume. A lot of times I find myself in basically a 2 setting on our volume level here, and the microphone might be pegged out. So it's a close range microphone. It doesn't pick up things far away, which I love it for karaoke because there's less feedback. But the problem with it is the singer's got to really hold it up to their mouths in order for it to pick up real good if they go too far. Now if you look here, this is kind of basically about how far I would hold my mic. Let me zoom out on that a little bit. This is just fine, but if you got out too much further, it's not going to pick up as good as right now. It's barely reading on the meters. So some people in the karaoke shows, they get to over exaggerating their mic control, and when they go way out far, then it really just drops off really fast. If they bring it in too much, it overfeeds the microphone. So there is a kind of a sweet spot on this microphone, a little bit more than maybe some of your others. But again, it's $115 microphone versus a more expensive $200-300 microphone. So let's get zoomed back in, and we can show you some of the other kind of cool features for it. As it's in its charger, you'll see a little light right here that'll come on, and it's going to flash if it's charging. So that's kind of a cool thing. That tells us that it is charging. And it'll come on and just stay on if it's fully charged. The great thing about this being a UHF system is the fact that it's going to have that kind of a quality UHF frequency in those bandwidths, but it is a rechargeable. So I'm just going to kind of move this over here. Now you can kind of see the blue around, and so some of the markings on everything's a little less. There's the yellow, just telling us which microphone is which. And once again, it's got it on both sides, so it's kind of basically a split screen. Obviously The screen to our right here is going to show us everything about our blue microphone. Everything on this side of the screen is going to show us the yellow microphone. They both kind of mimic each other. On the back of it, it shows which two fixed frequencies we have. Let's see if we can get the camera to zoom in on that. But it's got a decal showing you which two frequencies are kind of locked in. So that way you can kind of judge it against your other equipment, whether or not it's going to work for you. Other than that, it's a good sounding microphone. You will have to do a little bit of EQing, but it's not bad. For karaoke, $115, I would highly suggest it. It's no big issues. It's been doing pretty good. If you have any questions, please comment below. We'll try to answer them as best as we can. Once again, this is the Martin Ranger UHF-700 microphone system. For a karaoke show, works great. Maybe for a wedding or a live band, you may want to pick something else.